you mentioned Sutton before. Sutton is somebody who has spoken up and said, what's the big deal? I went to a lawyer. I just want to know, am I being dragged into something by just physically being here? And she's also gone to, so far as to say, I don't want to be associated with this society. Like, is Sutton correct, I guess?
I think Sutton's 100% correct. She is absolutely correct. And, the thing that I thought nobody talked about and what Sutton said, she sits on, and if it's true, she sits on boards. She said she sits on boards. Any board that she sits on, and if it's, a good company, a good foundation, whatever that may be, no one would keep her on a board if she gets put into this mess. It's the Housewives, outside of the people that watch the show, and even I think a percentage of people that watch the show and say they don't, it's not, I don't think a real, I don't want to say respected, because that sounds like I'm putting it down, because I do believe that there's entertainment value and that's something, but it's not like this is something to be proud of and like, hey, you've done like a great, contribution to society. Like I always say that when it all ends, it'll go down in a time where people say like the Gong Show. Do you remember that show, The Real Housewives? That was great, but what a shit show.
Well, that's what I always say about like New York, like, people from other parts of the country think these are the most revered women in New York. And I'm like, no, real people on the Upper East Side want nothing to do with these particular women. Some of them, but not all of them. That's just,
trust me, there's a lot of times I go to things, and if someone like says, oh my gosh, I know you, and I'm like, don't say it. I don't want them to say that.
You're like, just, you might have passed me on the street.
I give them like the eyes, like no, and don't say it. Yeah.
So you don't think Sutton did anything wrong?
No. I think she did the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like what? Yeah. I mean, I am a lawyer, so I'm very overly, do you know I'm a lawyer? I used to practice law way back. I don't know if you know that. It's not something I talk about now. Well, like 100 years ago, I practiced corporate tax law for a minute, but my mind thinks like, whether you practice for a day or not, like you go to law school, you pass like your mind. So my mind is always anticipating, which I love. It's helped me in life. Like I'm always anticipating like what is going to go wrong, which sounds like a curse, but it's not. It's not like I'm paranoid. No. It's just like, you're always like, people are crazy. And like, what is my liability in this situation? So let
me ask you.
I agree.
Do you think Sutton did the right thing then?
Yeah. I mean, I would too. Like you never think you're going to get dragged into it, but then you just think like the world is crazy and the way laws work, you just don't know. You just want a phone call of like, tell me that and Sutton has money. So you just call a lawyer, bill an hour. What's the difference? Why not just make 100% sure that nothing is going to happen by associating?
And for someone, and I don't know anything about Sutton. I don't know what she has, doesn't have, who she was married. I know nothing, but she's, from what I have seen, she looks like she has some money. And what she said is that she's connected to whatever. I don't think that she's, like Erika said, some small town, whatever. No, I bet any money she's probably traveled a lot more than Erika has probably been exposed to a lot more. And, and the fact that she's been asked to be on boards leads me to believe that whatever her life was before the show, she's a very well respected, revered person. So why wouldn't she want to protect that?
Yeah, like it's nothing personal. It's just like, I just want to sleep better tonight. Just, I don't think I have anything to worry about. And I'd like a second opinion. That's how I take it.
And you don't want to get dragged into somebody else's mess.
Well, on that point, do you think the other woman should follow suit?
I think at this stage of the game, it's water under the bridge. It's done. You know what I mean? Whatever else they're going to say or do. Yeah, there's nothing more to it. But I think that when it was all coming out, yeah, I think that they were right. The ones that kept a little bit of distance and space and stayed out of it and didn't ask too many questions. I think that was a smart move, personally.
Well, it's already been, thrown out there that Ronald Richards wants to now involve Lisa Rinna because she's gone so far as to say, I mean, whether this happens or not, she's so adamant about Erika being not guilty. He's like, well, if she wants to swear under oath and that she knows nothing and she's just talking for TV, great.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Erika poses is she now a liability on the cast for the other women getting dragged into something? Do you think?
I mean, no. I mean, they may subpoena them if they think they've known something, but is there a liability for them? No. I mean, but listen, if Rinna gets deposed, you know what I mean? She's gonna have to hire an attorney to some degree, and she'll have to spend some money to represent herself.
So right? You don't think the other women should get together and say we refuse to film with Erika?
No.
After this season?
No.
And you think Erika will be back? You think she'll be back, asked back, and accept to come back?
I think that Andy Cohen really likes her. That's my opinion, that he really likes her. So I think that she has a good chance, especially in light of, and I feel the same way with Alex Baskin. I think for whatever reason, I think that he really likes her. So I think that they'll maybe have a little bit of sympathy and feel like they owe her something. Because her drama brought a lot this season, but she'll have to probably, maintain some level of delivery, she'll have to bring on a new boyfriend that brings something, or they'll eventually get rid of her, I think.
Right.
If she's found guilty and has to, I don't know if she'll want to go back then. I mean, what kind of lifestyle, what is she going to bring to the show if she has to pay back $25 million? Unless she gets some crazy boyfriend that, is a shit show and wants to go on the show.
Well, there was rumors that she had a new boyfriend, and then there were other rumors that she put that out. These just don't shoot the messenger, that she put that out there to kind of deflect. Because listen, that would possibly deflect from all of this. Are you guilty? Do you know? If it went on that she had some new sugar daddy, that would be a narrative for a good while that people would latch onto, I feel.
And I would have to believe that whoever the sugar daddy is would be a bigger train wreck than her. Because no one that has half a brain and some money is going to sign up for that.
They want a nice, quiet.
And it's not even a nice, quiet. You just, you know what I mean? You're signing on to someone who, for the most part, is a pariah to society. Someone who blew through $40,000 a month of victims' money. It's like she kicked the puppy.
Watching The Housewife and The Hustler was kind of, for you, the hardest part, huh?
Hands down. I really was kind of open to everything until I saw those people and they talked about how they were calling for their money and asking for their money. And then me thinking about everything that I saw and witnessed and heard, and yeah, it's over the top greed and gluttony that if someone's doing it on their own dime, okay, that's just really bougie, bad taste. But now that, they're spending other people's money and other people that are just so sadly victims to the nth degree, that is a whole new ballgame.